So this is the eighth interview, I believe it is. I lost count. Actually, I lost count. But this is the first interview with a postdoc student here at the university. His name is Bartek Zawalski.
Yes,
Zawalski. Okay, you say
Bart-
your own.
Bartek Zawalski.
Okay, but your name, your first name is basically the Polish version of Bartholomew,
Yes.
right? But everyone just says Bartek for short.
Yes. Yes.
Which here we would just say Bart, like Bart Simpson. But everyone, we call you Bartek. And Bartek is, I think you're the first postdoc student I've really met. So tell me what a postdoc is for the people that are listening. What is a postdoc?
So after I finished my PhD, I submitted the thesis. I passed all the exams. I became a
PhD student?
mm, I don't know if this term PhD student is. I wanted to say that I became a scientist, a certified
A
scientist.
certifiable scientist.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Yes.
had your PhD already.
Yes. Yes.
So you got that, and then
So being a postdoc for me is just the opportunity to see how academic life looks like from the perspective of a professor.
mhm.
I'm of course I'm lecturing. I'm doing research. I'm here to talk to certain people I wanted to work with from the very beginning. So this is why I chose this particular place to meet certain people I would like to work with, and so this is both. So this is both getting to know how the life of the professor looks like, and of course doing some research and yes.
So for you, it's pretty much all research and some teaching on the side. So that's what you were employed as.
Yes.
So it's like being a postdoc is it equal to that of an assistant professor, or is it a little bit below? I don't really know the rankings because I know there's assistant professor, and then one notch above that is the associate professor job title, and then above that is the full professorship, which is basically how you became a postdoc because your guy knew one guy here, right? So how can you tell that story a little bit about how you became a postdoc, how you came here?
So my advisor in Poland is a close friend when I was a PhD student. Still, I came here to meet and we talked a bit. So we at that time I was staying there too short to cooperate scientifically and write papers together and so on. But we get to know each other. We learned what we are working on. We exchange some problems, and I from the very beginning, I knew that this is precisely the place that I want to be, because here I can find people who are top of the top in the world in their field, and they work on the same problems as I do. So our cooperation would be very fruitful. So this is why I wanted to be here from the very beginning. But that was when I was still a PhD student. And now after I finished my PhD, I submitted the thesis, the defense, and I became a certified scientist. I came here to continue my research and work with the people I got to know during my PhD student.
How much do you think? Okay, so let's say you came here because you more or less knew a faculty member here that you had been, in close contacts with. If you're somebody that wants to do a postdoc somewhere else, and maybe you don't have that same connections, is it still possible? Or, I imagine it's still possible. But do you think it's very difficult to become like a postdoc? Like if I wanted to go somewhere way out there that I don't have any connections with, is that a really hard position to get as a postdoc student? Do you really have to know someone at a university to be there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, postdoc is just a regular position at the university, so basically anyone can apply. Of course, there's a committee and so on and so on, but it's just a regular job.
Yeah.
I mean, so the key point is that you have to carefully choose the place that you go for a postdoc, because I know several people that decided to go to a place that they didn't knew very well,
Yeah.
and it turned out that the university, the environment
Wasn't to their liking.
doesn't meet their expectations. Yes,
I see.
So here I knew that I won't be disappointed. So
That's a good decision to do something. He's like, this
Yes.
is for certain what I want to do.
Yes. So if, for me, this place was not just some random place to make a postdoc. I made a
Decision to
decision
come here.
to
Yeah, okay.
decision to come.
So let me ask you, was it always your goal to become go get your postdoc after you got your PhD, or were you looking for other jobs elsewhere, and the postdoc was just like on the list of things you wanted to do? Like, maybe I'll do this, maybe if this doesn't work out, I'll apply over here.
Mm-hmm.
So but was it always about the postdoc? Like, did you know when you finished your PhD, it's like, I will become a postdoc after that?
When I finished my PhD, yes, I already made my mind to be a postdoc, but at the time I already knew that it should be possible. I mean, when I was studying mathematics, in parallel I was studying also informatics, and I tried to do some summer internship in informatics, just to just to be sure that if something goes wrong with
Yeah.
with my research path, then I will be able to find a good work as an informatician. Yes, but always on the first place was mathematics and pursuing the academic career. So this was my plan number one. So
I noticed a couple of people that I spoke to in the most recent interviews I did, they're all stats people, and their job, or not job, but their goals are to get a job in industry afterwards. Like, they want them to go out there and make money. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or anything. It's just, but you do seem more, you live for the mathematics. You don't live for like how much money, like what can math do for me? Like, you live for the math. Is that something that you would agree with, or do you think I'm off a little bit about that? Because you do seem like you love math just for the sake of doing math.
yes, I mean I will agree. So
Is an industry job something that you would do someday, maybe? Or like, do you think that you might, if academia doesn't work out? Which
yes, this is exactly the scenario I'm considering. So mainly I would like to become a scientist and do mathematics for whole my life. But if something went wrong, then I will go to industry, because mathematics is my love number one.
Yeah.
So this is the thing I'm going to do. But I know otherwise that the life of mathematician is quite a hard thing, because you have to be you have to be very patient. You have to admit that not always you are able to prove the thing that you want to prove.
Yeah.
That there may be a very long period that you do basically nothing, and so you have to be strong enough to
persevere. Yeah,
Yes,
keep going.
Yes.
So I do want to touch more on that, because I did get a question from one of my viewers. I made a post asking people to, give me some questions if there was anything specific I wasn't asking my people. But there was a guy that asked me about how to, like, if you're doing, okay, let's take it down a peg. Like, just do homework. Can you think of a time where there was a homework problem that you were trying to solve, but it just wasn't coming? Like, you spent like a week or two on it and you just can't get unstuck. How do you get unstuck from a math problem? Something basic like a homework problem. And then how does that translate to research? How do you get unstuck, or at least try and get unstuck from something that you're trying to prove that just won't happen?
Okay, so when it comes to the homework, it's difficult to say, because usually at least in my case, homework problems were solved after a short time, in the classroom.
Eventually, you get to see the answer.
So I just saw the solution on the blackboard. Yes.
Yeah.
So homework is maybe not a good example in my case, but when it comes to the research. Well, of course, there's no algorithm how to get answer, because otherwise everyone would do this. But in my case, it's just I'm working in parallel on several problems that are not very close to each other. And when I got stuck in one problem, then I can shift to the other, clear my mind. Yes, and then after some time, when I return to the problem I left, because I knew that there's some problem I cannot solve right now. Then with a fresh mind, I return to the problem, and often it happens that I just
something happens.
Something happens, and I come up with an idea how to solve this.
How much of your research is you just with pen and paper versus how much of it is reading what other people have done, searching the internet, just trying to accumulate just something, just like maybe there's some answer out there, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, how much of it is you just doing it versus gleaning from other people? Do you look up anything on the internet?
Yeah, of course. I mean, without this, I won't be able to do anything. Yes.
Some people feel guilty that, like, if they're stuck, like even me, like when I was first starting out, I would have to look up almost everything on the internet, and I felt terrible about doing it because I just felt like a cheater. Before that, I never looked up anything, never had to. Like in calculus, I could do calculus problems because the books were. I don't think the problems were that hard, I think, in retrospective. But when I got to like real analysis, I was like, okay, what does the internet say?
Yeah, I mean, solving homework problems is a different thing, and doing research is a completely different thing in this case, because okay, when you are solving homework, you have to practice your own skills. But when you are doing research, I mean, nowadays mathematics is that complicated that there's literally no person that can understand and remember everything. Yeah. From the whole mathematics. So it is just impossible to do research only by yourself. You need to use the achievements of other people. Yeah. So of course, cite them properly and so on and so on. But you have to use their results. So in my case, it is usually like this, that when I approach a problem, I think a bit about this. Then I have a vague idea how the proof can look like, yes, and what tools I need. So this is what comes from me. But of course, when I start writing down the proof, it turns out that I need some theorems, or I suppose that something like this should be true. So then I start Googling if this fact is known, because it is pointless to reinvent the wheel from scratch. Yeah. So the first thing is I Google if the problem is known, and if it is known, if it is solved. Usually it turns out that the problem is known and it is solved in some cases, which are not exactly the case that I need. So I have to work a bit on this. But this is the scheme I usually follow. So
how much of the day, like I want to talk about the day-to-day livings of a postdoc. So I know that you do research and I know that you teach. You don't take any classes because you're beyond that at this point. So how many hours of the day do you spend doing university jobs, like teaching and grading and all that stuff?
So teaching is pretty easy because it is 3 hours a week, but grading, this is
the grading is what kills you.
Yes.
Because how many students do you have in your differential equations class?
I have 12 students, so the group is rather small. But grading homework, it usually takes me 1 whole day or 2 days if really? I'm not doing this from morning to evening.
Do you have a dedicated day where it's just grading? I won't do anything else, just grade?
It depends. I mean, usually I'm grading the exam right after the exam.
Okay.
So this is how I work. But of course, if I had something important to do, then I postpone it to better occasion.
So most of your day is probably spent doing research on the problem because I remember my advisor told me that when you're a postdoc, there's no real hand holding at all. You're pretty much on your own. Would you say that that's true in your case?
I mean, I came here to talk to people and to cooperate with people. Yes, but of course, when I get out of the university, I'm on my own, and if I have to say how much time that I spend on research, I spend on my own, doing this on my own, then it will be vast majority.
The vast majority, yeah.
Like
Do you
80%,
80% of your
maybe
free time?
more.
Mm. Do you ever get sick of it? Like some days it's just like I'm sick of this math. I'm gonna do something else. Or is it pretty much like
Of course.
maybe like in like that moment, but then you're like I can't say no to you. I have to come back. You know what I mean?
No, but of course sometimes I'm tired of this, especially when I'm trying to solve these several problems and I can succeed in neither of them. So this is frustrating in a sense. So this is so then after I spend a lot of time on trying to solve a problem and I come up with nothing, then yes, it is tiring and I want to just leave it and have my time.
But you always end up coming back. So some people like to ask questions about like how do you deal with the frustration or the failure of constantly trying to, shoot the shot, but the ball doesn't quite go into the basket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then you just get mad. So I don't really know how to respond a lot to this question because it's very easy just to walk away. But I think the answer is more or less like if you love doing it, because then you'll stick with it. You know what I mean? Like I think everyone that's in a PhD program or a postdoc or that does what we do for a living, you pretty much have to love the subject or else you're just going to walk away from it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, doing PhD without loving the subject is completely pointless.
Yeah. If you don't love, I guess I gave this advice a while back, but if you don't love doing the subject that you're doing, because I don't know if you know this, but when I graduated with my bachelor's, my bachelor's was environmental science, and I was thinking about staying in that field because I knew people there and getting my master's degree in EES or geology. I was talking to a geologist, but I could tell that my heart really wasn't in it, but I did like the people, and I knew I could probably get a master's degree, but there was something about me wanting to go back into math because I started out there that kept me going, even though I remember like my first day in the master's program as a math student, we had one quiz. She handed out the quiz. It was algebra, and I, did the two problems. And she handed it back to me after she graded it, and I failed it. And I was just like, this is a great start to the master's program. And then I went to her office and argued with her a little bit, but she gave me some points back. But I quickly fixed it, and then from then on, it was pretty much smooth sailing. Have you ever had to deal with like a class that you took in either a master's program or before that where you that you legitimately failed a quiz or a test or anything like that? How did you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean,
I'll tell you an example for me. When I finished my degree, my bachelor's, I took as a non-degree seeking student, I took advanced linear algebra. It was a proof-based linear algebra course. This was before grad school. This is like me dipping my toe back into math. The first exam went pretty well for me. And then the second exam, my study habits didn't really change. My study habits were the same for the second exam as it was for the first, and I thought I was okay. I went in, I took the second exam, and I got a big fat F on it. I failed it. And I was like one of the only people that failed. And I was really, really upset that everyone else did pretty well, like B. Like they all told me it was hard, but they managed to get like a B or an A. And I was like, man, that just means I'm not just cut out for this. Because it'd been I hadn't had modern algebra or real analysis by that point. This was before that. And I was I went to the chair of the EES department, and I was crying. I was like, can you guys let me back in to the master's program? And then he goes, what, you fail one test and you just want to come crying back here? I was like, well, I mean, what about? And I gave some bullcrap excuse. I was a young guy at the time, so I admit it. And he goes, look, if you really love math, you fail one test, that's not the end of the world. You know, big deal, you failed the one test. You can always come back from it. And I know a couple of people here in the department that one guy, he said on the interview, he said he failed his complex test. But he knows that he can come back from it, so he's not going to cry about it. So did you have any experiences like that that could help people that maybe failed a test to help keep them going so that they don't end up not doing what they love?
I mean, my after high school, when I did quite advanced mathematics, because I was preparing to Math Olympiad, I came to the university. So so when I do classes in calculus, I had no problems. But linear algebra was on the first year, and for me it was the first contact with abstract mathematics.
Yeah.
Because everything we did, okay, it was not that easy, but it was not that abstract thing as linear algebra, those bases, spaces, and so on, and all these theorems. So this was my first my first problem with mathematics. So the first colloquium went not so it was a disaster. It was in fact my first experience my first experience with mathematics that I'm not able to understand something. Yes, this was the first time when I realized that I'm not able to understand something in mathematics. Yes, but how I dealt with this, I simply took consultations with the lecturer several times, and he explained me everything once again very slowly from the beginning. And then after those consultations, I started to understand the subject. In fact, in my case, it is that I start to understand new material after half a year, maybe. So then after half a year, I wonder how I could be that stupid not to understand this. But yes, this is I need time to digest it, to slowly comprehend everything, and then after this half a year period, I'm able to use these tools in a learned way. Yes. So this is how it works in my case.
Yeah. You know how you feel about how you said how you could feel so stupid, like once you understand it and you look back at what you struggled and you just shake your head like, how could I have done something like this? Because I do that all the time on the channel where I'll present something, I'll say something, it's like, that wasn't true. I don't know what I was thinking when I said that. But also, like, when I look back at my old work, like, I did keep a Calculus 3 test I took. I remember this one time, I took Calc 3 over a summer course, and he gave us the final exam as a take-home test. And there were a couple questions, and I just remember Calculus 3 being not hard to understand, but really tedious and easy to make mistakes, at least in my experience. So I remember in a weekend, I would take the test, and I'd write up my solution, and I'd look at it, and I'm like, okay, so let's check our work to make sure I didn't drop a negative or something. And then I would do it again, and I would get a different answer the second time. I was like, what? And then I would do it a third time. And these problems take some time to write up. And then you get a third different answer. And then you're just like, what am I doing wrong? And then I remember that weekend doing that Calc 3 test, that final. I legitimately stayed up all night from sunset to sunrise. I saw the sunrise that day, and my dad's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm doing this stupid Calc 3 test. I keep getting a different answer every time. And eventually I figured it out, and I got an A on that final. But because that was like the very first time I can say that I legitimately tried hard on something, and then I kept it. I remember I wrote in a big marker on the test. I was like, never throw this away, and I put it in like a folder somewhere, and I don't know where the folder's at, but I think back to that test from time to time about like to remember like this is where you are when you think you're trying hard, and here's what actual trying hard looks like. So when did you start to like officially try hard in mathematics? Because I imagine it was probably pretty easy for you up to a point, at least math, and then at some point there was that breaking point where math became difficult. For you, what was that period? Was it the linear algebra?
Yes, yes. I mean, this was the second semester of first year. Yes, of course, the linear algebra course at the first semester.
Yeah.
That was the first course that I really needed to learn, to study hard, to understand what's going on. And of course it continued. Linear algebra was the thing that I really needed to spend a lot of time to understand. But now I'm very, very glad that I did this job, because now linear algebra is everywhere. So
I noticed that you spoke at the seminar today, the measure theory seminar, and you were telling us some stuff about algebra, and there were some dimensions and spans in there. I was like, that's linear algebra. He's using linear algebra right now. What's he doing? This is measure theory. So for me, it was math proofs, just logic in general, set theories. Just it was a whole different world of math that I had not become accustomed to, and I just
even more abstract than algebra.
Yeah, well, I mean, elementary linear algebra I took as an independent study, and it didn't really seem that bad. But proof writing in general was just it was a big hurdle for me. And I say I took it 4 times. If you can argue I took it 4 times, because I took it as an independent study. It wasn't very good. I didn't get a good education. So I took it again when I went to a university. I did okay. The 3rd time was I was a TA for a computer science course where they do basic logic. And then the 4th time was when they made me a TA for the class. So I took it as a student, and then they made me a TA. So that was like the 4th time I saw it. It was like, okay, I can pretty much do if and then statements pretty well at that point. But then my next biggest hurdle, modern algebra, was okay. Like I could trudge through it, but real analysis killed me. I really did not understand analysis at all. For you, which one do you struggle more with, algebra or analysis? Because we're both in the pure side of mathematics. Which one was the biggest struggle for you?
Algebra, definitely.
Algebra.
The one class that I needed to repeat was on Lie groups. But I knew that it will be hard, because I knew the teachers.
Yeah.
Yes, and
sometimes the teachers make it unnecessarily hard.
No. But I really wanted to understand the subject, because now I'm using it quite often. So I really wanted to understand the subject, and I knew that this is a good teacher.
Yeah.
So I went to this class, but there I had. There were a group of people, but those algebraists are, I'm more from calculus, from analysis, and there were mostly people from algebra, and those people from algebra knew everything, all this, all the category theory, everything. So when he started to define something categorically, they all understand, that was easy,
skip this. Yeah, let's keep moving. And you're like, wait, break it down for me, doc.
Yeah, so they understood everything, all those abstract, ideas and so on. And I don't know. I mean, this is I think the matter of specialization at some point.
Yeah.
As I told, nowadays it is impossible to understand everything in mathematics. You have to choose your field of specialization, and my field of specialization is definitely not algebra. So when I came to such a course, I was this student who doesn't understand anything, and all of the others, they know everything. And
did you ever feel self-conscious about being quote unquote the dumb one in the room, because it took you so much longer to get caught up? Or do you not or does that thought never enter your brain? You know what I'm trying to ask? Do you ever feel self-conscious about your standings as a student or a mathematician?
Self-conscious? I mean...
Self-conscious, like, it kills your self-confidence. You know what I mean? Like, Like everyone else is doing amazing, but you're like, oh man, I feel bad because I can't keep up with these people. Do you ever feel that way?
Yeah, I felt that way. I felt that way many times, but but in fact I was prepared for this because
Yeah.
when I took the course, I knew that most probably it will be like this. So it was not a problem for me because when I took this course, I knew what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it happened exactly as I expected it to happen.
I think those feelings are you kind of manage more when you just get older. Like I think if you're like a teenager and you got like infinite levels of confidence, and then you come into a class and you're like, well, I didn't really understand as much as I thought I did. You know, those people might be more willing to, go do something else or let the bad feelings take over them. But I do think that if the older you get and the more you stay with it, it just takes time after that point. Because then you enter a room and you're like, I don't understand anything, but I don't really care. Eventually I'll learn it. That's kind of the philosophy I have. It's like, someone else can do it. I can certainly do it myself if I just give myself enough time. Just be patient, I would say.
In my case, for example, with this Lie algebra course, I took it for the first time. I failed, of course.
Yeah.
And then when I was doing my PhD, I took the same course with the same teacher for the second time. And
yeah.
Yes.
But that time you nailed it.
Yes, and at that time it was. I must say that it was much better because I told you about this half a year period.
Yeah.
After which I digest everything and start to understand. So of course this of course I took this course like a year or 2 years after. And when I came to the course for the second time, then I felt much more confident, and in fact I understood much more of this. Of course, I was not. I still wasn't able to solve anything, to solve everything, and to follow the pace of the lecturer and of the rest of the group. But it was much better. And I have to admit that I learned a lot from this second approach. Then I got B grade, but the lecturer told me that it is for persistence.
The B for persistence. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. So, you mentioned a while back that you studied for the Math Olympiad. You competed in it in high school.
Yes.
So, to me, those people are legit math people because I never did Math Olympiad in high school. Didn't know it existed. Did not know it existed until like the end of my master's. Like I was getting my master's thesis written up, and I read somewhere on the internet about this Olympiad thing. I was like, what is this? And then I read it was something that high schoolers do. I'm like, oh, high schoolers, I'm a master's student. Certainly I can do these problems. And I looked at them, I'm like, oh my God. It's like, I am not that good at math. I really am not. So for you, I want to talk about like how you got into the Math Olympiad and what you did to prepare for those exams. What did you do?
I mean, for me, okay. So my adventure with Math Olympiad began at primary school because basically my mom is a math teacher in high school, and my grandma was also a math teacher in high school. So so I have some family traditions.
So you grew up in the world of mathematics. That's how you got into it.
Not exactly. I mean, it is not like that my mom, being a math teacher, taught me maths at home. No, completely not. I mean, of course, she.
The English.
English.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Okay, but she encouraged you to be good in school and to pursue the things that you love. So for you, the fact that you loved mathematics and the fact that she was a math teacher was more so coincidental, or did it just? How much of that was her influence on you?
No, it's not coincidental. I mean. When I was a child in primary school, I was interested in pretty much everything, in mathematics, biology, everything.
Yeah, the sciences, or did you like art and history and all that stuff too?
History maybe not, because I had problems to remember all the dates. But
Okay, but art was okay. You like
yes,
art too.
art
Yeah,
is okay.
okay.
Of course, I was drawing, painting, everything. When I was a child, at that time I was interested in everything. I didn't consider mathematics, something better than all the rest. Yes, but when I finished the primary school and had to go to the junior school. In Poland, we have 6 years of primary school, then 3 years of junior school, and 3 years of high school. And after finishing the primary school, I had to choose the junior school. And this decision was important because, in particular, I had to choose one subject that I would like to study more.
Mhm.
I had to make this decision.
So you kind of specialize pretty early then, like your junior school sounds
Mhm.
like our middle school, like sixth grade, eighth grade. I don't know. I skipped seventh, but you get the idea. It sounds like you guys you have to specify like, okay, I love math, so I'm going to hone in on math. Versus the history people will hone in on history. So most of your classes, would you say that you take as a middle schooler or junior student, were mathematics?
So yes, so when I chose the junior school, with some, of course, suggestion from my mom, I chose a junior school with I chose a junior school with high level of mathematics.
Okay.
Yes, so I made this choice to that I want to study mathematics in more extensive than other subjects.
I see.
And of course, my mom suggested me that I was doing well in mathematics, so she suggested me that it is a good option. Besides, the school was quite close to my home, and it was considered a good school. So all this together helped me to make this choice.
So, but when did you start doing the Olympiad? Like, because that's for high schoolers, particularly like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds.
Yes, but in Poland we have also math Olympiad for junior schools. And then of course when I went to this junior school with extended program of mathematics, then I wanted to participate in the Olympiad, but of course the problems. I mean, the problems on the maths Olympiad are very specific because they are not about knowing more involved mathematics, but they are more, at least in Poland, about using your knowledge in a non-standard way.
It's like how creative can you be?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like, do you know these tricks that
yes,
help you
yes.
solve?
It's about of course you need to know something more than it is taught at school. This is for sure, but it is more about clever use of your knowledge than learning some material from high school. This is completely not about this.
How much of that math Olympiad training that you did carries over to doing research? Anything at all? Because I asked this question because I saw an interview on Numberphile. Are you familiar with Numberphile, the YouTube channel? No. It's a fairly big YouTube channel. They talk about math. He interviews a lot of math people. And in one video, he interviewed Terence Tao, really famous mathematician. He asked him the question, like, how much of that math Olympiad training that you did, helps you in research and all that stuff. And it sounds to me like Terence Tao said, it doesn't really help you at all. I could be misremembering that interview, but it seems like he downplayed its significance. Do you think that anything from your math Olympiad days is helping you now as a researcher, scientist?
Yes. I think yes.
I would think that the creativity that that is required to do well in the Olympiad, helps you become more flexible as a mathematician. That maybe you'll see things to help you, like, okay, I want to prove that a convex body does a loop-de-loop and a somersault. You know what I mean? And then maybe you'll see something like, this trick might apply here to help me show that I developed when I was a high schooler. That's
Yeah.
how I would think of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about tricks or about tools that are needed to solve Olympic problems. In that sense, it is not helpful because well, you cannot you in fact, nowadays the modern mathematics is so complicated that you need to know advanced tools to solve those problems. On the Olympiad, you have some basic tools used in a very clever way. But what is mathematics in general? It is a way to if you want to prove a theorem, you need to somehow find connection. You know a set of facts, and you need to find a connection between them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the proof, the path that connects facts and leads from the assumption to the thesis. So in a sense, the way this way of thinking of a problem is something that I learned when I was preparing for the Math Olympiad, and now I'm using it in my research. So the non-standard way of thinking of the tools you have.
Yeah, I see that would, how it could help you that way. So we are coming up on 43 minutes, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. But I will ask you a few more, maybe non-math questions.
You have to cut.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll cut out some
yeah.
stuff, so it's okay. So when you're not doing math and you would just want to decompress and just forget about everything, what do you do in your spare time? How do you have fun? Or is mathematics your fun?
Of course, mathematics is.
We all
fun
enjoy it. Yeah, but sometimes you need a break. So what do you do when you take a break?
I don't know. I like to watch a good movie, some sports, soccer especially. I'm from Poland. So.
Yeah. Do you guys call it football in Poland?
Yeah, we call it football.
Okay, most places call it, but there are some places that call it soccer outside the U.S. I just don't know. What movies do you like to watch?
My favorite one is The Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Do you like the fantasy type genre of film, or is it just Lord of the Rings? Have you ever seen I don't know. The Marvel movies are really popular, at least within the last 10 years. Have you seen any of them?
I've seen them on the plane.
On the plane?
This is a very good occasion to watch new films. So I took this opportunity. I saw them on the plane, but they were good. But this is not my favorite type of film. I think that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is by far the
pinnacle, the peak of filmmaking.
Yes.
I see. Do you watch any TV shows? Anything on Netflix or HBO Max?
I don't have any streaming service.
No streaming.
No. In Poland they are not yet popular. I mean, people have them, but not that common. They are not that common as in the US. Yes, of course, I watch some talent shows like The Voice of Poland, for example.
Okay. Is it a singing competition?
Yeah, I mean, you should have American counterpart of this because this is not our invention. This is
probably American Idol was the #1 show for a while.
Yes, Idol. We had this program, but it was a very long time ago.
I see. A lot of people I spoke to enjoy video games, but I don't really get that from you. Do you play video games?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What do you play? What do you play? You seem like you enjoy books more than video games.
Yeah, I enjoy books also. I'm reading Tolkien.
Tolkien? Lord of the Rings, I see.
Of course.
So what games do you like?
No, when it comes to games, I spend a lot of time on Battlefront.
Battlefront?
Yeah, but the Star Wars one.
The Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes,
I see.
yes. I'm also a big fan of Star Wars. So.
Star Wars, I see.
Yes,
I saw the prequels a long time ago. I don't think I've seen the original trilogy with Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope and the other one. What is it? Oh my God, I can't even remember the names of the movies.
Jedi.
Yeah, that one. So okay. Have you ever played the Dark Souls games?
No, but I would like to do.
I've heard. I got into those a couple years ago. I saw on the internet, there's this. I was just looking at a bunch of games on the internet, and then I saw someone was talking about Dark Souls, and I saw some footage of it. It's like, this looks interesting, and now it's just got a hold of me. I can't get away from it. That's my poison. Whenever I'm not doing math, I'm torturing myself with Dark Souls because those games are notoriously difficult. So they say. But you get used to it eventually. So I ask a lot of mathematicians this question. What is your favorite number and why?
Number?
Yeah, your favorite number. As math people, you should have a favorite number. He's laughing because I know the answer is he doesn't have one.
No, what is my favorite number? I don't know. I mean, this is this type of question. I mean, when I was young, the people always ask, what animal do you want to be and why? I don't know.
You're just like, this is a ridiculous question.
A human.
A human, exactly.
Because human has big brains.
Because a
no,
human.
Of course, it was not my answer at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, what's my favorite number?
Some people give interesting answers, and then other people are just like, I don't have one. Numbers aren't that special. But it does. I ask it. The reason I ask the question is because it kind of gives. I think it gives like. It lets you. No one really cares what the number is, but the reason why they pick the number is interesting. It tells you like what the mathematician finds important. Because some people will pick a number because it has like some certain special properties that you can see they're like, oh, this person really loves numbers or loves patterns, I should say. Whereas other people are like, I don't really care about numbers, like 0. They'll just pick 0 because it's nothing. It's
0 and 1 are very distinguished from a certain point of view. So this was one. Okay, if I had to pick one, if I had to pick one number, distinguish one number, then my first thought was about 0 or 1.
0 or 1.
6 is nice.
Why 6? Why did you pick 6 for?
Because I don't. It's it is the smallest number that has a lot of interesting properties. For example, it is the sum of its divisors or stuff like this.
I see.
I mean, but this is just some
trivial thing that you picked on thing. Yeah. I see. I think maybe number theorists might have more. Like people that study number theory probably would be like, oh, I love 37 because blah 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 blah. Whereas people in analysis are like, look, there's 5 numbers for analysts. You know the joke. There's 5 numbers: 0, 1, constant, big and small.
I thought about 0, 1, e, pi.
Those guys. Yeah, the Euler numbers.
So it's 5. Yeah.
So it is 5. Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah. You didn't say about natural number.
No, natural. Yeah, you can.
E or pi maybe a good choice.
You can pick any number. You can even pick I.
E is
not even real.
E is more for a calculus guy, and pi is more for geometry guy. So I'm more calculus. I'm dealing with geometry. I mean, I don't know, E or pi.
E or pi. All right, we'll put you down for E or pi. Okay. To wrap up, do you have any questions for me? If you're interested, you don't have to ask me anything if you don't want to. It's just if there's anything you want to ask me. No.
I just can ask you any question.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
No, I don't know.
Okay. No questions. All right. Thank you, Bartek, very much.
Thank you very much.